guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Maddie Renee, and today's video is going to be a Halloween costume makeup tutorial on the 1970s flower child. I was actually inspired to do this look by a 1970s Maybelline ad that I found online. So this is the picture right here, and I hope you guys like this tutorial. If you guys want to learn how to create my 1970s flower child makeup, then just keep on watching. But before we get started, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave. So without any further ado, let's do this. Okay, so let's get started. First, I'm going to be taking my Origins Ginseng Moisturizer. And this is just an energy booster. It's to make your skin look more glowy than normal. And it also helps fight age. I really love this stuff. But for this tutorial, I wanted to use this. I mean, I use it in all tutorials, but I think this is especially perfect. Because in the 70s, one of the popular makeup trends was to have glowy and dewy skin. So next I'm using primer. I'm using the Too Faced Primed and Peachy Cooling Matte Skin Perfecting Primer. And I use this because I have oily skin. Suffer very badly from oily skin. And I'm just going to put this on my problem areas. So for foundation, I want to use something that is very medium coverage because full coverage really wasn't a thing in the 70s. It was all about like being natural but being fun at the same time with all the colors. So I'm going to be using the Too Faced Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation, and this is a natural beige that I have. I'm just going to do one pump. That should, well, I'll do two pumps. That should cover my face with one coat. So I'm just going to be taking a beauty blender with this. I feel like it applies better with a beauty blender than it does a brush. So I'm just going to pick a little bit of this up and start dabbing this on my face. So I'm going to be setting this, and I'm using the Peach Perfect setting powder. I'm taking my big fluffy brush. This is the BMX 130 by Royal and Langnickel. And then just start blending this away. Okay, so next I'm just taking my MAC Eyebrows pencil, and I have this in the shade Spiked. And in the 70s, they really valued a very natural eyebrow, so I'm not going to be going in like that full shape that is in style now. I'm going to be going with a very light hand, so check out what I'm doing here. I'm just going to be brushing them out. I'm just going to be lightly filling in those areas that are sparse. Okay, so my eyebrows are finished. I just did like a very light coloring in of the eyebrows. I didn't shape them at all because that was not in style at the time. So let's just keep moving. We are going to be moving on now to bronzer. So the 70s was really into bronzer a lot. So I have my Morphe R10 brush and my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and I'm just going to be putting this basically all over my face. They were really into bronzer at this time. So I'm just going to dip a little bit in and tap off my brush, and I'm going to start with my cheekbones because they were into contouring at that time. They were very into the hairline. In the jawline, right underneath the lip here. Now I'm going to contour my nose, and I will be right back. Okay, so in the 70s, what was really popular was to give a nice bronzy, dewy look to make it look as natural as possible. So I'm going to be taking my Too Faced Sweetie Pie Radiant Matte Bronzer for this, and I'm just taking a little tiny Morphe brush, and I'm going to be brushing that around and just kind of adding that to the bronzer around my face. And for blush, I am using the Studio Makeup Loose Blush powder. I'm taking a very fluffy brush. This is the Luxie 640 Pro Precision Tapered Brush, and I'm just using what's on the cap here because this is so pigmented. The blushes in the 70s were very favored towards berry tones, and this is the most berry color shade that I have. And I'm going to start brushing this on the apples of my cheeks. And I'm just going to move it around my fingers and blend that in. I'm just going to go back in with my bronzer brush and blend that in. So next we're going to be stepping into highlights. So highlighting was a huge step in the 70s as it is today. It's not something that has gone out of style yet. They're very different today as they were back then. Whereas today we use golds, we use yellows and like fun purples and pinks and like holographic colors. Back then they were more stuck on pearl tones and tan-like tones. So for this I'm going to be using my Too Faced Peach Frost. This is a very pearlized highlight that I have. So I'm just going to be taking my Royal & Langnickel BMX 250 brush, and I'm just going to be swirling this around and putting this everywhere. Especially on the cheekbones. We're going to be going up, and I'm just doing this in like stippling motions. I'm going to be doing this on my nose, the tip, my cupid's bow, and then adding the rest on the apples of my cheeks. So next we are going to be jumping into the eyes. I had a very hard time figuring out what I wanted to do for this tutorial. The natural look is very in during the 70s, but this is a Halloween costume and I did want to go a little bit above and beyond, so we're going to be using fun colors today. So I'm going to be using like pinks, and we'll just see what happens. But first you always prime your eyes, so I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in Eden for this, and you just blend it in with your finger. So in the 1970s, shimmer shades were really in at the time, so I'm going to be jumping in and using this shade right here in the palette. And this is a nice little pearly pink, and we're going to be placing this all over the lid. First, I'm just going to take a little Morphe blending brush, and I'm going to dip into the white basic shade of the palette to make the other shades blend more easy. Just taking that light shimmer shade, and I'm going to tap off the excess and just start patting this on my eyelid. So next I'm going in with the same blending brush I used to blend that basic white all over, and I'm going to be touching this shade right here, and this is a very fuchsia pink. So I'm just going to take a little bit, and we're just going to be building this to the color that we want. And I'm going to be placing this on the crease and moving up to the brow bone. And as you can see, I only have like a little bit on my brush, and we're just going to be building this very softly. Just going to start blending that upward, but you're going to go all the way to the inner corner with this. I'm going to dip in with a little bit more. Going all the way up to the brow bone. Third dip, I tap off twice. I'm just going to start blending this downward with no more on your brush. So I do want to add a little bit of this on my own. I just want to get this little shade right here and just pick up a little tiny bit and blend this into the crease to fuse both of those colors together. So I'm just going back in with this shade right here with that flat packing brush and just reinforcing that shade really quickly. So next I'm just going to be taking my little tiny white eyeliner, and this is from Wet n Wild, and I'm just going to be going over my lash line with this. And now I'm going in with a Merle Norman Lasting Cream Brown eyeliner, and I'm using a Merle Norman eyeliner brush for this as well. And just lightly go over that white. Next, I'm going underneath to my lower lash line with my NYX Professional Makeup Epic Black Mousse Liner. And I'm just taking my Sigma EO6 brush with this, and I'm just picking up a little bit. And I'm just taking a little pencil brush and I'm going to be smoothing that out. And I'm going back in with this little white pencil and I'm going to be lining my waterline. And for lashes, I'm using the Ardell 385 Cat Eyes Lashes. For my mascara, I'm using the MAC False Lashes Extreme Black, and I just have a little sample size of this. In the 70s, they were really into berries, corals, glosses, and nudes. So for this, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb. And to finish the look off, and this is the finished look for my 1970s Flower Child Halloween costume. I'm also going to give you one last look of everything that we did, and we will be on our way. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys liked the tutorial. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up or subscribe down below, and I will see you guys for more Halloween looks next time. Happy Halloween!